Welcome into the broadcast everyone. We got a little bit of a flip-flop here for our casters. My name is Somber. Alongside with me tonight is Taquito. As always, this is going to be one heck of a night. It already has been one. Two back-to-back bangers to go ahead and kick off tonight's slate. Coming up, we got Western Kentucky taking on the Monarchs of Old Dominion. And Taquito, they're already hitting the pitch. They're not going to give us time to yap. Let's go ahead and hit the pitch with them, be able to bring you all the action here. Super excited for this matchup. Again, week one non-conference, so we get to see what some of these guys do in national play. Very excited to be here, and we're going to go ahead and wait and reset the lobby so we get to lap a little bit of a misfire there. We're going to be good to go in just a second. But Taquito, first of all, how you doing, man? How are you living? How is it going, man?
I'm here, brother. We had a fun night last night trying to figure all this out. It's been interesting, to say the least. Been really interesting trying to get this all going. Of course, it wouldn't be CCS without, some slight technical difficulties here and there. So we've got to figure out everything. We got to figure out what's going on, how to do this, how to do that. And at the end of the day, we just got to figure out what we need to do to get everything moving smoothly. But it looks like we've done it so far. Nation has hacked into the Matrix in his own PC. He's figured out the code down to the bare bones. He's negated all the negative things that are going on over there. He's back in the production room. You and me, we're back on the cast. And, some might even say we're the second faces of CCS. No one actually said that, but I did. So, we're here to kind of liven it up as best as we possibly can for you, ladies and gentlemen. You called the ODU Monarchs. You gave them their moniker, but you completely forgot that Western Kentucky was the Hilltop.
Yeah, the Hilltoppers, man. Bro, I will say they have some of the best uniforms in college football, so I do have a lot of love for the Hilltoppers. Western Kentucky, they go hard on the uniforms. They got the Hilltopper eyes on the side of the helmets. It looks real dope. So, I'm looking forward to their squad. Last time we casted Western Kentucky, they had an absolute banger math match. So I'm hoping that we see more of that product here for the Hilltoppers. But ODU, we got some love there with Flip overall repping the Monarchs. So a little bit of a contentious pick here for either side for both of us. We got love for both sides, but we're gonna see some absolute ball. We go play Rocket League now. Finally, no false starts on this one. Lobby's good to go. We got kickoff here for game one between Western Kentucky and Old Dominion.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the duo that nobody asked for, but they got anyways. Reviews are in. One person said it's like Stumpy and Cole from Aldi. The same individual said it's like Fish Taco from Wish. It's Sam Keto bringing you the next two games here on the CCS stream. Nothing but sentiment content here on the stream, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to be an absolute banger of a slate tonight. We've already had two great games. We saw great showings from Mizzou and Ball State, both taking their non-conference wins over Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech lost both those games. They did end up getting perfect swept by Mizzou, but this is a Mizzou squad returning back with Crims, more reps. Bubs is back, ready to go, and Mizzou is going to be looking for that top two finish, for that possible number one finish, but we need to talk about less about what happened and what is currently in front of us. It's Nass for the Monarchs off the dish from the midfield, getting them kicked off here for goal number one.
It's expected from ODU, in my opinion. This is something that I definitely am not surprised by. I'm happy to see that they still continue to remain as consistent as they have been. Obviously, a couple new faces that we're seeing here. We got Lethix, we got Nas, and we have Dan stepping in from the sub side as well, playing on the team. But is that Goth? Is that what we're going to go with? Is that Goth?
I was going to go with Goth because the square for the missing symbol looks kind of like the inside of an O. So you take the outside, it becomes O, and it's Goth. Until we're corrected otherwise, it's Goth.
Okay, cool. So yeah, WKU, the Hilltoppers, put it in. DPK, Corey Sizzle on the opposite side of Goth as well. 1-1. It's a tie game so far. Again, guys, non-conference season, absolutely. Or non-conference play, not non-conference season, but the first 2 weeks of CCS, always fun games, fun series across the United States. Like I said last night, if you guys don't know, there's about 176 teams competing in this league. So we got to try to see what would happen if we put everybody against each other outside of the regions they play in.
Yeah, this is a great look at national play for a lot of these teams. Again, non-conference, you're not playing the teams that you're going to be playing throughout the regular season. This is a quote-unquote preseason, but it still does go towards your overall record. These are things that we've taken into account when we're doing the who's in, who's out when it comes down to those national playoffs. But this is for those teams that may not make it. WKU and Old Dominion, both really tough teams, but they play in divisions where they got even tougher teams ahead of them. So it may not be something that you see here. That's a great defensive play by DPK off the backboard, but we get to see now with national competition, there's not the stakes of a national championship. It's all free for all here, and we get our first looks at both these squads. And the man in the booth ahead of us says that it's Gath, but it's his teammate Corey Sizzle knocking in the second here for the Hilltoppers.
So we got a little bit of word from production here. We've been saying it all wrong, brother. It's Gath, not Goth.
Gath.
And number two, I was totally wrong. There's actually 186 teams. So there's more players than I thought in this conference this time around, in this series of play, than it was last time. It's truly the biggest season they've had so far. So guys, if you're going to any D1 schools, you want to participate, and you're not participating, you absolutely need to hit Nation Up to get some games like this. 2-1, the Hilltoppers absolutely climbing that hill so far against the Monarchs as we're already past the half.
Right now, we're racking up some stats on the stat board as well. 2 wrong facts spit out in the first half of game 1, so this is going to be an absolute treat throughout the broadcast tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be wrong multiple times, but we'll always come back with those corrections, and hopefully things get smoother on the way back, and has some smooth defense coming out from Lethix right there. They're going to guide this one all the way down into that red corner here into Hilltoppers territory. Backwards play will keep it possessed. Corey Sizzle comes in, dribble play on target, big time challenge from Nass. Dan up early, has one on the backboard, getting body blocked out. Gath puts one mid, no teammate available, but DPK able to come across and make a good play on that 50-50 ball. Gonna drop down center. Free floating play will be intercepted by Corey Sizzle. Maybe one more touch from Gath needed. A great interception, but Lethix puts it just wide into that Hilltoppers corner, but maybe an opportunity to set up some offense here for the Monarchs.
Good pass back here to Dan. Dan trying to keep it alive outside the blue, make it to the half. Gath. Good. I don't know. I don't think they stole the boost. It didn't pop up for me there, so I guess it was Nas to steal away. Corey Sizzle, the only one back. Oh, good defensive play. Puts the ball on the ground. Out of the corner, we got to go here. The Hilltoppers, a little bit awkward on defense, but don't see a lot of boost in the tank here for the Monarchs. Not enough to play with, but that's a good pass to Dan that could result into something. Corey Sizzle, awkward play for Gath here, sends it away from the goal line just a little bit, but they've got to get this ball away from their final third if they want to get a counterattack going.
Ooh, that's a big time challenge in the turn from Dan. They're going to miss the initial touch, but find it off the sidewall, get bumped for their efforts, trying to put pressure on the Hilltoppers late game here. Big clear downfield, going to waste some precious time off the clock. Big time miss on the goal line. DPK skies up, sinks the shot. Hilltoppers trying to secure this game 1.
I mean, they're doing it right here, right now. They absolutely are. They are up by 2 this time. 32 seconds left on the clock. Hilltoppers looking absolutely dangerous here in this game number 1, Somber.
Absolutely lethal here. They gave up that opening goal. It looked like ODU is going to go right back to form that what we've seen them in past seasons. Again, new roster for at least us here in the booth. We haven't been able to get really good eyes on this ODU roster since I believe season 4, which was fall of last year, and that was when we had Pea Shooter on the squad. Shout out Pea Shooter if they're still kicking around on the ODU campus. But this is a new squad, and they're trying to make some big plays. Nass reads the miss touch out of the corner. Big time dunk against the defense. 11 seconds, a kickoff, and a dream here for ODU to try to force overtime. Let's see if they can make some magic happen.
And this is very, very interesting here. And also, you talked about Pea Shooter. You're forgetting Goat God and Kuro, bro.
No disrespect. No disrespect.
Dan is trying to let you know that it didn't matter with that old squad. They got the new squad. They're tied up. 6 seconds left.
This is new school rock being played by ODU. You draw it up off the kickoff, knock it down with the man downfield. 6 seconds here. And all they have to do is play for that golden goal opportunity. Another one in the bag. Corey Sizzle will win. Will find its way into ODU hands. Lethix trying to get over to Nass. Gath will miss the touch. 2 touches out of the corner for Nass. Lining up a shot. This is going to be a long clear. Dan might be able to catch up. No, not enough legs behind them. And we see overtime here. After a 3-1 Hilltoppers lead, we got golden goal in game 1.
It's beautiful, man. Absolutely beautiful. They came back from so far down. They were down 2 at the time, was taken away. Big clear there for DPK. Gets demoed on it. Gath, little to no boost. Oh, and Corey Sizzle, all they needed to do was snag that bump on Nas. Never mind, the dunk. Oh, but it's off on the corner. DPK could have ended overtime right there, but we close in on 30 extra seconds here in game 1.
Dan gonna take a nice possession touch, can't catch back up to it. Big demo at the midfield. Nas is gonna go early, big time 50 win. Dan trying to win the foot race out of the corner, pinches it past one. Nas did not expecting too much pace behind that ball, pinch a little heavy handed. Gath, nice catch, try to carve up the defense. Nas with a nice 50, falls in favor of the Hilltoppers though. Corey Sizzle already up, down to Gath, pop back up. Lethic's going to be able to receive and put it to that side wall. Gath bails out of the challenge. Dan will be able to find one touch, looking for a second. Nas to play cleanup, looking to get it back mid, off the post, denied off the shooter. Corey Sizzle downfield, has a lane open, but Dan will take it away quickly. Back and forth defense off these counter opportunities for both sides. Not wanting to concede, but still trying to find quick goals downfield. That's a big time miss, but DPK comes in clutch here for WKU.
This is just incredible, if I'm being totally honest. This has been amazing play from both sides. They're doing so well to play every single touch, just exactly how they need to keep the ball away from getting scored on. But I'd like to see some better opportunities. They get into their opposing half. They get very, very close, but they don't put the nail in the coffin. They have opportunities like this one right here, and there it is. Nas must be listening to me, and they did exactly what I wanted. Right place, right time. Shut the door on game one.
And we saw that play earlier with just over a minute into OT. We saw that pinch out of the corner, trying to get it mid, but it was a little bit too hot for Nas to read at that time. They go right back to the well, and ODU seal out the game. Big time 3-goal turnaround here, getting into overtime in the first place, but being able to seal the deal as well. Very dangerous offense being put on by ODU, trailing up until the final 11 seconds, and then they're able to get it to go. Absolutely disgusting masterclass in resiliency here by the Monarchs.
And it just, what a turnaround too. It took them all of 2 extra minutes, if you will, to get that extra goal they needed. They were down by so much. They were down by 2 rolling into that final 30 seconds. I'm glad to see them turn it around. And that's kind of the ODU team that I expect, man. They put themselves on the back foot. They put themselves against the wall, and they're able to just turn it on. Now, Western Kentucky, you started hot off game 1. You were up by 2. 3-1 was the scoreline for you. You got to keep that cushion if you want to win. But at the same time, you're up against an opponent that's scrappy. ODU has been known to get a little aggressive when the pressure's put on.
ODU is also a team that is consistently competing with the likes of Louisiana, Buds, who are now making their return to CCS. Gath, oh my goodness, started off again for Western Kentucky. But this is an ODU squad that's having to play competition, that's making it to the national championship, making it to national play, and not to forget even JMU also in that same Sun Belt conference there for ODU. So this is a team that has to week in, week out play very tough, stout competition. WKU, a team that is maybe a little bit on the lower rated side, not just in terms of ranking, but maybe in terms of tracker as well. But they're being able to take it to this team, and like you said, when you get that cushion, you got to be able to hold on. We saw some jumpy plays. We saw the missed touches off the kickoffs that led to the comeback, but you're able to find that cushion once more and just tighten up on those ticky-tacky mistakes. This is going to be a not cakewalk, but a much easier task to be had here for WKU. A nice double tap lined up. We'll find Bardowski for Nas, and again, scrappy team, going to be a back and forth game, a back and forth series, and we're here for an absolute banger already throughout game 1 and into game 2.
That was unbelievable. What a slot. Just snuck it right underneath the crossbar from Nas. Again, kind of the player I look to lead. I know Dan is very good as well. I remember Dan was the actual sub for the top team. Sometimes Nas was up there. Do you remember Nas's old name?
You what?
Yep. I was going to say, I didn't know if you remembered the name change or not. Oh, Western Kentucky almost capitalized, but Nas, we're talking about him, is able to sneak that one out with a big stretch at the goal line. 1-1, still the score line. Big clear here. That one might find its way through. What is Nas on? What is happening right now?
On a heater, that's what they're on. Again, WKU, it's just a big time 50. Corey Sizzle, you side flip right outside your own box. You're trying to go early. You're getting a little jumpy. You need to be able to settle down on those nervy plays that we're seeing come out Again, you started off hot. You got that opening goal. You could have built on momentum, but now it's a big pendulum swing over onto the side for the Monarchs. They get to play a little bit more comfortably now, being in the lead. Maybe Dan trying to line up that sidewall read, almost got it on the skim touch. Now it's going to be able to receive that one at the midfield. Dan still upfield, trying to put on pressure here against the Hilltoppers. Drop shot will bounce past the defense. Athletics getting in on the action. 3-1 now, ODU.
They have, they just turned this around, brother. I have no other way to say it. They have truly just. They just turned it on, like he said. That's literally what they did. ODU is playing with fervor right now, and in Western Kentucky, you guys are called the Hilltoppers. You're known to surmount challenges. You've got to be able to do this. There's a hole in the defense right there. Corey Sizzle took their time, ground to air. Probably should have put a laser low. Could have scored the second. Lethics puts the musty on. Dan is up, but no one there to continue the third member play. Corey Sizzle won. Back to the mid. DPK was a little awkward, a little too close. They couldn't capitalize on that, but it's past to Gath. Gath, a chance. Needs to get past Dan. Does so well. And Western Kentucky marching back. They close the gap by 1.
DPK just does the gritty work here on this play. I love the challenge out of the corner. You get that 50 back mid, and then you don't get the bump off, but you force the early jump from Dan. It makes it so much easier for that follow-up man to shoot when there's a defender already up before they take that shot. They can go ahead, side flip it, put it to one of the posts. They can put it right underneath the defense. They have many more options. Because a lot of times you see that bump not connect, and the defender just stays patient. They shoot it right at the defense, and it's a opportunity gone by the wayside. But that time they capitalize, able to cut that lead back down to 1. Maybe be able to find an equalizer here. Great touch from Gath. Corey Sizzle off the play. We'll find one more touch to the backboard. Gath, no boost. They play it patient, though, and slot it past Nast. It's Gath getting it done.
Just amazing, bro. These teams, maybe I wasn't paying attention close enough right now. And I'm telling you, Western Kentucky is about as scrappy as ODU. They're just a little bit west of the university. So, or is it east? Where is ODU? Is ODU in the western side or the eastern side?
Of what?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Flip out. You're in the chat. Where are they? ODU is East Coast. Okay, so Western Kentucky is a little east of the school. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I didn't know you were talking about like the east side or the west side of the state they're in, or if they were, or just the continental United States, or the greater States, global scale. I didn't really have the context to that. Maybe I missed that, and that's an L on me. But yeah, they are East Coast. Again, they're playing in the Sun Belt with Buds and JMU, excuse me, and Louisiana. So they're over here on the East Coast, and I believe another Southeast team as well. Bowling Green, Kentucky. Thank you, Nation. W Man's in the chat. So this is actually a little bit of a close borders rivalry here between Kentucky and. I was gonna say West Kentucky's the state. That's West Virginia, man. I'm just all types of L's right now, man. The brain is low-key fried, but we're here and having a great time.
Listen, brain's looking fried like an egg, but that's all right. We're gonna scramble it nonetheless. We got a good close game. Underneath 90 seconds to go. Tied at 3-3 yet again. Game 1 was an overtime. We are currently looking at a Game 2 overtime if nobody's able to break the stalemate. The second time this has happened in this specific game where they get close to scoring, they got a lot of opportunities, but no team can seem to close the door on an option. But Nas back there, Lethics puts it up. Dan may be able to follow, but it's into the corner. Under a minute left. The 60-second warning did go up. So Western Kentucky, can you do it again? Are you going to be able to take the lead here? Or are you going to give it up to ODU one more time, who makes a late game surge?
Throughout this series, there's two things that I feel confident in right now. Do not ask me geography questions, and ODU know how to put it up late game, and they're trying to push the pressure on right now in the final 30 seconds. They get a good ball in the corner. Dan going to be a little bit late to that 50, but will win it out. Nas pops it back up for a teammate, but Lethics opts to go for that opposite side corner boost instead. Nash is going to stick their nose at the play and turn around, get right back to it. Now they're looking mid. Has Dan down below, trying to get out of the way, but it is a defender. DPK coming up and skying that one through. Gath to the backboard, has a teammate lined up, but a missed connection, a little bit of a 50-50 between Lethics and the Hilltoppers over on the goal line. We might see overtime once more and not able to keep it up. Back-to-back OTs.
There's one more thing you can add to Somber being confident in, not knowing the name of a player in a pressure situation. It was Corey Sizzle, by the way,
who missed the
shot. Not to call him out like that, but it is what it is. Got Corey Sizzle right here at the double set. Corner aim, and they absolutely do. The Hilltoppers take it too.
Corey Sizzle said, "You're going to know my name now, buddy." Double tap on your head top. No boost as well. Uses the last little bit to trail that play. Tap it on home. Just like that, we got a tie series. Back and forth game, back and forth series. That's exactly what we love to see coming out from these two squads. And this is what you like to see going into regular season play as well. Teams that are, they're constantly having to punch up. Now you get that even matchup in national play. And it's an absolute banger. You're showing that you can trade blows, go shot for shot. And ODU, a little bit of a similar collapse. They were up 3-1 and then just absolutely melted down 4-3 OT. Complete flip of the script from game one.
It's that back and forth, man. Scrappy play on both sides. I definitely appreciate it. It's something that I love to see as a commentator, and also just someone who wants to be a competitor as well. Anytime you're in competition and you play an opponent who plays up to you and the game is neck and neck, you don't know if you're going to win this or if you're going to win that or if you're going to take the lead properly. It makes the game that much more exciting, Ooh, and that is Corey Sizzle yet again starting us off in game number 3. Like you said, Somber, Corey Sizzle is going to make you remember the name.
I think this is now back-to-back games. Game 1, Nass had the overtime winner and then went in and scored the first goal for their respective team. And then now it's Corey Sizzle scoring the OT goal right in the hot hand, and they're right back out on top. The Toppers have found 3 straight games now where they score first, now traded back and forth. So I think that this lobby is the mentality of play it 1 goal at a time. They don't pay attention to the scoreboard. Once you're tied back up, you look at it as 0-0, and it's who's going to score first. It's always a golden goal opportunity. They're going to show that resiliency. And that's the type of games that you love to watch. You love to see the trading of blows, the big defensive masterclasses that you see in late series with opponents like this. You get to see some of the best of Rocket League on display, and it doesn't matter how it happens, you're going to see great games. Big time demo on the back line. Might see a response goal here from ODU, but a big time clear coming out from Corey Sizzle. Great recovery as well. Holds down that drift, keeps their momentum, and able to put some pressure off ball on ODU. Absolute snipe, finds the crossbar, pings off. That could have been a second here for WKU. Attack not over yet. They're looking to play with some pressure here. 350 at the midfield, find it right back in the corner, and they look to reset the offense.
That crossbar ping hurt my feelings. I'm not going to lie. It was a good shot. Gath tries to get one back here. Corey Sizzle needs to race. It's off just a little bit, but Dan picks up the boost, gets a nice touch. DPK, good save. Knox is going to try to play it from the corner. Corey Sizzle is a little awkward, but they are able to at least distract one opponent long enough to keep the ball moving forward. They get to the half just now. WKU looking to strike while they can. This is off the back wall. Dan does miss. Corey Sizzle off the back wall as well. No boost. Nas is able to pick this one up. Lethix, legendary backflip right there. Instead of going up, hate to see it. Raise your hand or maybe press a 1 in the chat if you've backflipped on a jump like that. I'll go ahead and raise mine. That's tough. That is so tough for the side of ODU. They're playing defense well, though. I got to give it to them.
They are holding well on the defense side. I will say that both sides, you've seen some backflips and some missed touches and little missed inputs like that, but never have we seen just a full lapse in their defensive rotations where they're relying on that. I think that's something that you get really stuck on, especially collegiately. You start to get a lot of reps with their teammates and a lot of chemistry built, and you kind of rely too heavily on your teammate getting the perfect touch every time, getting the perfect takeoff every time. So being able to still just play fluidly is such a great skill to have, and both these teams have it in spades. Great fake from DPK, a follow-up 50 will find its way to the sidewall. It's going to be an open net opportunity. Gath will be able to win out the foot race, get it over the top of the defense, and find that one through. WKU coming back in, and they're just charging through. Big time dunk over the top of Lethix, and it's now 2 unanswered. ODU need to find something quickly here as we're now under half.
Yeah, that one was interesting to say the least. Corey Sizzle a little awkward there as well on the kickoff. I'm not going to say it was a fake, but it was just a tactic, calculated is what we'll call it, because of course they would never do that, not on purpose. Nice off the back wall. Gets challenged well by DPK. Good challenge there all the way down the pitch. Gath picks this one up, tries to stay with it, wastes a little bit of boost. So Corey Sizzle to take over to DPK. DPK off the back wall. Where's the finisher? There's Gath. Maybe, oh my lord, DPK, if you would have redirected that off your tires, I would have took my hat off for you.
That was an insane confidence play, and WKU coming out with these type of maneuvers, just side flipping while your back end is facing the opponent's goal. Stellar judgment to have, honestly. You're just going to go for it. If it goes in, amazing. If it doesn't, oh well, you're still on a path to rotate on back, and they're looking to hold pressure once more out through the corner. Gath going to put some pressure on Nass. It will go the way of the Hilltoppers. Almost another 50-50 with two teammates off the backboard for ODU. Big clear downfield. Gath, the top of the resources, take to the back wall. Early challenge against Nass. Lands a bit awkward, and it will be Lethics to come in, continue to play here for the Monarchs. DPK able to slot between two attackers. Nass, though, going to turn quickly on that one. Sky up, soft touch. Back down, Corey Sizzle looking for DPK. Sidewall 50, and we're going to keep lagging time here in the Hilltoppers half and trying to just tick this clock down. Under a minute to go, still up by 2, playing very comfortable on defense right now.
They're playing incredibly comfortable for a team that, let's just call it what it is, Somber. They look incredibly awkward. But they are playing with an air of confidence like I have yet to see through all of this. So it's very important, just like Nation said there, for those just joining. We got UTK, Tennessee, the Vols taking on Indiana after this.
Now, I don't want to have any get hopes too high, but for UTK's last game, I saw Joe Bro reporting the score. So do we see the glorious King Joe Bro return? I saw that him, Taibu, and Shaka were all on the trackers for the roster, so maybe we have a rotating third in. I know they were having some roster debacle during a Night Lights show match. They had a squad play. Their third wasn't fully into it or something. I don't want to put any misinformation out there, but I recall seeing that there's some type of roster shift over for UTK, and we do get confirmation. We got Jobro, Kung, and Jeezy. That is a content roster, and we're in for an absolute treat after this. This is already a great start to our little stint here on the broadcast for Sam Keto here on the broadcast in the booth. We're having an absolute banger between Western Kentucky, who just skunked ODU in Game 3 after back-to-back OTs. You hold them scoreless. Stellar display of defense coming out from the Hilltoppers. ODU need to bounce back here as you're now put on double match point. But after this, following up with UTK Indiana, masterclass after masterclass here on CCS. We are the Cinema Content Series for a reason, but we now have kickoff here for Game 4. Can the Hilltoppers close things out, or do we see a Game 5 here, the first on the slate? We'll see.
Hey, ODU have it in them. We've seen it happen. Game 1, they were able to bring it all the way back. Games 2 and 3, they unfortunately gave it up. Nas just needed to put that ball in. Same with Lethics, and that turns into an own goal. You were not kidding when you called it Cinema Content Series. I'm not going to say that was great cinema, but that was cinema nonetheless.
It looks like it was the perfect little DPK ended up hugging their car as they were trying to jump, and they ended up like side of the car goombaing them and into a bump to pool shot that, because they got credit for a pool shot on that goal. So yeah, how you go from getting bumped to pool shotting an opponent into an own goal, I don't know. But the Hilltoppers, they must have had, they must have put on a Randy Savage compilation in the background and had some absolute utter bars and motivation in their ears for that last game, and they're coming out just as on fire here in Game 4, the closeout game of the series, potentially here if they do get the job done. But still a lot of Rocket League left to be played, only a minute off the clock, but an early lead here is a good sign for WKU.
Do you think that it's the cream of the crop one? It's that motivational speech?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say it, but you know the one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. The cream always rises to the top.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Literally. Nice shot.
We'll save that for the green.
DPK. These guys, okay, if I'm counting correctly, that is the 4th or 5th goal they have put directly underneath the crossbar. The placement is just immaculate from WKU.
WKU is having one of those games where they can't shoot if it's not right underneath the crossbar. They've tried the upper 90, they've tried the near post or the inside post, and it is just barely off, right? They tried for double taps and it finds the crossbar. or it's directly under it, or you snipe a shot and it's directly under the center of net, under crossbar, and just place it. Just place it. You're trying to do too much fancy stuff, just put it up underneath crossbar. It's going to go in. And they've just been lights out the last 2 games. Now 2-0. We saw this as the final score line. It won't be, though, this go around as Lethix comes over, finishes a play. Nas was trying for that double tap attempt, ended up turning into a phenomenal setup for their teammate in Lethix down below. Nas would have had it off the reset, but like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get that one in for you, buddy. We'll make sure that this is now a 2-1 game heading into the last 3 minutes of play.
That is just, I mean, it's a great play from ODU. Like, Lethix was actually there in time. They have missed a touch. This could be bad. Nas has no boost to get there. Dan, though, is up, has a double, could set the teammate, but Lethix can't get it past the defender. No credit on the defense, but wow. WKU there just in time. Tried to bump Dan off their own back wall. Lethix, nice touch. Nas is up. Nas has a double, has the angle, has the shot, and it's off. Corey Sizzle. Oh, no.
Again, let's just talk about the setup. Lethix, phenomenal doink downfield, and then the own goal. I mean, you were inevitably going to give it back, right? For the first goal going in and being a pull shot own goal from Nas. Nas was going to make sure that they get that one back, put it right in front of the defense, make them knock it back in. It's going to be a back and forth game. It's going to be these little minute mistakes and just placing a ball well right in front of the defense on a rotate. It's bound to happen. It's bound to give through once or twice throughout this series. And now we're back to equal. Under half to go. Will ODU be able to finish this comeback attempt being down 2-0? Found that equalizer. Might be in store for another OT. We might be in store for a game 5. Who knows? Does ODU have the legs to go ahead and get this one done? Nas I would find that second touch, but Lethix comes in again as that second man, an aggressive challenge, but you love to see it, especially in crunch time here. Nas, big time 50. Corey Sizzle going to take their time out of the corner. Downfield, the demo does come through, so you won't have that follow-up man. Be right back into Hilltoppers territory. DPK a little bit awkward, but Nas can't find it on the other side of net. We go again once more at this midfield stripe, trying to push back into Monarchs territory. And going to delay it just a little bit, but the Hilltoppers trying to fight their way back into this game.
They're doing well, man. I mean, they have at least even the score on the opposite side of an ODU. But since then, not a lot of opportunities to score. We found one, and it was whiffed, but that was on the Monarchs side. The Hilltoppers, they have a chance. Corey Sizzle looking for a nice waterfall pass to a teammate. Gath couldn't get there in time. DPK dunked on that opportunity. Gath just needs to send it away, but it's only into a corner, into open space. Possession given up to the Monarchs. They have a chance to play. Lethix with a good demo, man advantage. DPK, good save. Opportunity still alive here for the Monarchs as the boost totals are incredibly low for the Hilltoppers. Gath almost sneaks that one through. Great save from Nas. We're having that stalemate one more time, Somber. It's 2-2, less than a minute. Someone's got to break it.
I have to come down to golden goal for the third time this series. It's a big time 50, but Nas will be able to read it off the sidewall. Corey says going to offer the back pass, looking for DPK, but it will be Lethix to read it all the way down into that corner, trying to put some pressure on the ball. Time miss, but Nas will be there to clean up into the hands of DPK, though. Infield pass, Corey Sizzle just off target. Able to find that shooting touch that they had throughout the last two. Nas, final 10 seconds, looking for one final setup down the field. Dan has to come in and play 50 ball. Nas down the pitch, able to find the redirect. It is on target. Second man demoed. Lethix has to push up. Nas just going to ground this one. Play for OT. Trust your ice again. See if ODU is able to extend this one to 5.
They are going to try their best. Gath does not actually secure the possession. Awkward play on the side there. DPK bumped off as well. Possession given over for just a moment to the Monarchs. Monarchs have a little bit of boost in Nas and Dan. Dan is up. Challenge is good. From Corey Sizzle, back to the mid we go. Lethix, easy save routine on the goal line. Late jump there from Gath, but they lose the ball for a second. Nas, not the best touch or pass. DPK as well, trying something here. Awkward deflect. It's going to be up to Corey Sizzle to play this at least a little bit better than that. It's a good attempt, but they are, for whatever reason, able to get that out of the corner. I'm surprised that Lethix gave that one up so easily.
Yeah, let the 50 go, and then both people back for ODU.
Oh no, game
see here if Yeah, I saw that too. And I'm like, whoa. So we'll fix that shortly. But in the interim, we still got our first minute here now, almost elapsed in overtime. Game number 3 that went to overtime. And this is, again, incredibly scrappy back and forth game. Oh, it could have been over there. DPK just off target. Pass back over to the opposite side of the field. Yeah, it's going to take their time with no boost. He's able to get it past one. Bounce awkward. Nas not able to read it, but Lethics again coming in, playing that second cleanup man here for ODU. Touch delay from Corey Sizzle. Lethics not having any of it. Trying to get it back mid. Feeding Dan at the center of the box. DPK will be able to get it out of a scary situation. Trying to rinse and repeat off this back wall, trying to find some type of reprieve. A 50 downfield might set something up. Lethics is up to read. Waterfall straight back down. Gath able to corral the touch. Dan down below. We'll play the low 50. Bump and Nas gets bumped into the clear. We're heading into our second minute of OT here. Both teams having awkward situations, but coming out unscathed.
It's impressive that they have been coming out unscathed. 2 minutes in OT. Here we go. There's a shot, and we are going to game 5, my friend. Nas put the nail in the coffin, almost gets a hat trick for it. That's the second goal of their game 4. This is going to be, I mean, it was just a series, bro. 3 overtimes. We've had 3 golden goal opportunities so far.
I think the crazier thing is that game 4 was a shutout by Western Kentucky.
Game 3.
That was game 4. Game 3, thank you. I forgot we're in best of 5s, not best of 7s. Too much time on the Bepic channel.
Listen, buddy. I know that brain's fried. It's all good, though. I'm here to help you. You know, not with geography, but with everything else.
Yeah, because geography, you're cooked as well. I mean, center of the U.S. What's even the point of that?
I don't know. Midwest something.
Yeah, Midwest something. Anyways, we now head into game 5, man. This is who would have thought? I know that UTK and Indiana probably not the happiest that this is going to game 5, as we are a little bit behind schedule, but they'll have to just sit back, relax, watch these games, and lock in for once this game 5 is wrapped up, because we do have Champions Field here tonight on the broadcast. We got kickoff here for this back and forth battle between the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers and the Old Dominion Monarchs. Akito, let's strap in.
Brother, I've been strapped. I was strapped the moment we locked in on the broadcast, and I dropped the absolute worst bar in history about us as a duo. You know what I'm saying?
No, that was a banger. Certified.
No, I gotta admit, Nation had an even better one. He compared us to Jet Set Holiday. So, anyways, game 5. We've made it through the complete series. Monarchs have fought their way back against the Hilltoppers. This has been crazy and Nas yet again to start us off. Is that the 3rd game in a row that Old Dominion, when they have scored first, it's been Nas?
I think that this is also, after coming from an overtime, the player to seal it in overtime scores the first goal of the lobby.
That's happened actually every time, right? That specific stat, right?
Yeah.
That's wild.
So
consistency, baby.
I feel like the script is a little bit too obvious right now. What are the odds that that happens naturally, right?
Right, exactly. Very slim. Lots of numbers there. We're not mathematicians either, so we can't help there. Dan is going to stop us from going on our rant. 2-0 Monarchs.
The only math they're concerned about is the numbers that they're adding to the scoreboard right now. And it's currently 2-0 in the opening 54 seconds. There's some other numbers for you. Impressive showing from ODU after being a scoreless 2-minute overtime and then finally being able to find it off of what is admittedly a really goofy overtime goal. It was just, I think we saw a slight team bump and then the other person just kept driving and it was an open net for Nas to score. But this is now turning into another ODU masterclass that we've seen time and time again. But I want to remind everyone in the chat, game 1, this is what ODU looked like. They went up, or game 2 rather, they went up very early and WKU forced the OT and then won it. So this is going to be a very interesting game to see throughout. If WKU can find another comeback, it's a big time pinch save off your own upper 90. But are they going to be able to shore up that defense? They're looking more stout. The shots aren't falling here, but the rebounds are. Dan now gets their hand into the mix. They got 2 on the night here for game 5. 3-0 the score line to kick off this game 5.
Listen, man, I got to tell you, what I think is really happening right now is they had a Ted Lasso speech from Flip Out in the chat, and Flip Out's still the manager of the team. and he made them believe. That's just got to be what it is. Because ODU going up by 3 this early in Game 5, they did something in between that Game 4 and now.
So now for the Venn diagram of those who are filling it in for the night in the cast, we had Macho Man Randy Savage giving a prep talk to WKU, and then we got Flip Out on the other side. So the in between of that Venn diagram is their prep talks equal big offensive performances. So you got to find one of those two if you're ever looking for a big offensive boost to your team. Just hit up Flip on Discord. I believe it's Flip Out Season SZN. Great save coming out from Lethix. That one gonna fall through for Corey Sizzle though. Again, yeah, that time that was bar in, but still, you find it, you put it exactly where the defense can't get it. I don't care that you're squishying; it's going in.
If they score 2 more goals on the side of the Hilltoppers, and if they both go underneath the crossbar, genuinely just convinced they can only hit hard shots. Because putting the ball in that exact place is not very easy, especially when you're under pressure. You're in a moving game situation. Lethix is gonna get this saved right there at the final third. Corey Sizzle could have got that. DPK, everybody's jumping. It's a little bit of a triple commit there for the Hilltoppers, but not exactly what you want to see. Gat is able to go up. Still had some boost to the tank to play. It's going to be off the side. A chance to move down the pitch. I like the movement over to Gat, though. The option on the wing is much better there. There's a side pinch on the corner. No one is able to follow it, though. DPK trying to get something going. Corey Sizzle, the lone member back, having to move this ball to the mid. And it just tough to go. We have a rule 1. I just noticed. There's a rule 1 in Game 5, and you're down by 2. Respect to WKU right now. That's a
perfect cut. Perfect.
That is an actual perfect cut.
Perfect cut. You bring up the rule 1 and then hit the goofy thing from Lethix. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, you lose the 2v2. This is when you need to score. You need to score in the 2v2 to demoralize your opponent, but instead it's DPK off an own goal. They collide with Corey Sizzle. 4-1, a minute 33 on the clock. Can the Hilltoppers find anything? A missed cue off the kickoff play going to lead to a 5th, and you are facing a 2-goal deficit in a very, very comebackable situation. You've done it already in this series. Literally 2 games ago, you did it. But now you're in Brazil territory. What is this?
I think that maybe the goofs and the gaffs got to him a little bit too much on the side of Western Kentucky, and they've just lost. Oh my lord. These saves off the crossbar are getting a little ridiculous, okay? WKU, you guys are getting some incredible saves, don't get me wrong, but like, we are just getting a little too close for comfort.
All right, talk to me.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
What happened? I don't think that it's the goofs and the gaffs.
It's a collapse. Like let's just call it what it is. They pulled the wrong block out of the Jenga stack, and everything fell apart.
60 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah. This is, after such a great series being put on by Western Kentucky, I don't even know how to justify this type of scoreline. I mean, things got out of hand so quickly, and especially because the opening half, you went into a minute and a half left. DPK gonna get one on the board, but that's a Chris Paul hits the 3 to cut the lead to 40 something. You know what I mean? Right now, 4 goals in 42 seconds. You need to score every 10 seconds. That was your last goal scored in what feels like forever. This is heartbreaking to see, to go from such a close situation that we've seen them be able to come back from just in this series alone, to force an OT and then come out with the win on the other side, to now being down by 4 with 30 seconds to go, and ODU just has to play time.
Yeah, they do have to play time. I mean, and it is possible here for WKU, if they can get the ball going the opposite direction. If they can put one in here and use some kickoff strats, there is a possibility. But I think with all that time wasted off there in the corner, there is no longer a possibility. ODU, in a dominant fashion, we're just going to call them overly dominant university right now with the way they played this Game 5.
Yeah, I mean, shout out ODU. They got it done, and they forced the game 5, and they did it. They won 2 straight. They were on double match point. They got the job done.